I was doing meditation for years and years. I was having out of body experiences. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm so advanced. Oh my God. I was like an elitist, like spiritualist, like I'm better than you because I do more spiritual work. It was like one of those things, which was like part of the path of all of it. Right. But what happened was I would begin to know that I'd have these mystical experiences and these empowerment things, but then I couldn't be in the same room as my mom. I'd get triggered in the same room as my mom. So I'm like, well, how spiritual am I if I can like not like be an actual relationship, but I can have these things, right? So what happened is I began to dive more and more into the subconscious work and realized like, wow, there's something here. We can have these spiritual things, but we need to deal with the actual DNA and the subconscious work. And so just began to dive into it I became obsessed with it. And then what happened is I created the E4 trauma method and I began to do these processes. I was like, what are we actually doing? We're neutralizing the events that happen. So for most people out there, let's do this. First thing is you got to recognize that you have trauma, because most people think it's just, well, I wasn't in a car accident, or I wasn't, sexually abused by my father, or I wasn't, had some huge things. That's not trauma. So spiritual psychology is different than traditional psychology. Psychology would say, is there big traumas? Is there little traumas? All this stuff. We don't look at it like that. Spiritual psychology, we're saying it's not what happens to you. It's what happens within you. And what happens within you is when something occurs in life, let's just pretend that you had a breakup, or let's pretend that you got bullied on a jungle gym, or let's pretend that you sat in your house for 2 years in the pandemic, right? Like whatever happened, whatever occurred or didn't occur, there's something that happens where you have a really high frequency. You put a meaning on what happens or doesn't happen. You all of a sudden have this huge level of frequency because you're upset. And it is, so you've got frequency. How does the subconscious program? Through frequency and vibration. So you've got this huge frequency, you're highly upset. And then what happens is you decide something. You decide a lie. I'm not enough. I'll never love enough. I can't trust. I don't want to live. Whatever it is a decision backed by high frequency. And it actually goes into an engram that goes into the neurological system. And it actually goes into the subconscious. It tags the DNA, it myelinates the DNA, and actually strangulates the DNA. So then we're like, why do I feel good? Why am I feeling like all frenetic? Why am I feeling like discord? Why do I get anxiety all the time? Because it is your neurological system reacting to what was created within. So if you're out there and you're going, how do I begin with trauma? You want to first get trauma informed and realize, wow, I do have trauma. And this is why my life is outpicturing the way it's outpicturing. Number one. Number two is to actually do the healing, the trauma healing processes. There's all types of things. There's EMDR, there's different things, or you can come in and work on E4 trauma method. Ours is a little bit different. It deals with, the triggers. It deals with that, the energetics of it, of dealing with that and neutralizing it. But what it does is we take it a little bit further in that we birth someone's purpose. We believe that the trauma is the key to when you transmute that energy is actually the purpose. Life's purpose is born out of your trauma work. And then we make a declaration and we do what's called a spiritual mind treatment or a scientific prayer to actually take the DNA to the next level.